We're here in the Loadsman family farm, 4th generation farmers in the Plain Creek Mill District. We're having a yarn with Garry with regards to his involvement in Project Bluewater 2 and the project Point of Difference. I've been working with Garry for the last 3.5 to 4 years, I suppose, roughly, doing Garry's nutritional plan, trying to help improve his productivity and yields whilst improving water quality outcomes. So with the Point of Difference project, one of the big things that sort of got Garry involved with the project was the funded EM mapping. So basically we've mapped pretty much the majority of the farms here to identify the different soil zones within each of the individual blocks. Via that we can more effectively soil test so as we can create pretty much customised blend for the block efficiently. It's quicker for me and it also provides better outcomes for Garry. On top of that, Project Bluewater, which is pesticide focused, has provided tailored pesticide plans, and these plans basically identify waterways, areas of vegetation, and options for chemistry that should be used in the appropriate location to achieve the maximum outcomes. Combining the two projects together, Garry's identified that with the funding from Project Bluewater and the funding from Project POD, or Point of Difference, the funding can be combined, and he's had built a variable rate Suscon box. And basically what that means is that Garry doesn't have to apply Suscon at one rate across each of the blocks at the time of planting. So Suscon is a slow release imidacloprid, granular, that lasts for 4 years. But the trouble with imidacloprid is it can actually provide water, or has been identified as providing water quality issues. So applying it variable rate to the zones where the cane grubs will be will mean that he can cut back the area of Suscon whilst achieving effective control of the cane grub problems, because cane grubs are a massive issue within the sugarcane industry, impacting upon yield outcomes. So any sort of reason why you're interested in getting involved in those projects?
Don't know, probably the funding helps.
Yep.
So, and yeah, save a bit of water quality.
Yep. So have you found that the agronomic advice coming through with regards to the Point of Difference project has helped with your nutritional decisions?
Yeah, it definitely helped.
And with the Project Bluewater, obviously you said one of the main things that has come out of it for you is the funding to assist with your Suscon applicator box. I think it's interesting that it's sort of, that box has not only linked the funding, but it's also taken some of the EM mapping that was provided under the project Point of Difference with the Bluewater, so as we can now get you some variable rate application maps of the Suscon.
Yeah, so blended the two together.
So how do you think the new Suscon box is going to improve, your farming operation?
Well, yeah, before you if you put Suscon on the whole block, now we can pick out the zones that need Suscon, and instead of manually turning it off and on and remembering it, should just go into a map and engage and disengage. So
in the soil types where the cane grubs aren't likely to be present?
Yeah.
So, and where they're likely to be present, the lighter soils?
Anywhere near trees or ridges, and then focus on them areas and just apply it to that.
So do you have any idea sort of the area of which Suscon won't be applied to?
Or I'd say probably around 60%.
60% of your farm. So you're farming about 180 hectares. So 60% of that's a fair old area where Suscon isn't being applied to.
Over a growing period,
So in reality, we've got a nice creek down there. Looking from some of the satellite imagery, you're close to sort of seagrass beds, and so that's going to have a massive water quality improvement. So it's a double whammy, environmental outcomes, and
coin in your back pocket.
Well, I suppose one of the things we've identified is soil amelioration. So with some of your limes and gypsums, you've got some pretty hard soils down here. So if what you're not putting in with your chemistry,
put more into limes and gypsums, and